2025 end of season banquet. From a coaching standpoint, from a team standpoint, from the previous 3 years, even to this year, I just feel like the biggest gains we keep making is in culture. This was a fun group, from the freshmen all the way up to the seniors. Was one of the most fun years I've ever had coaching in 23 seasons. But it also helps when all 3 levels are winning a lot of games, having fun, working hard, and couldn't be happier with the way this season went. With all the guys we got that do multi-sports, the guys that are committed just to football by the time it comes up to as their older groups, or even the younger groups that do that. But definitely want to say a thank you to a lot of people here. Start off with you parents. I know we constantly got shifting schedules, things like that, but having the boys here for everything that we had going on through the off season to all the way through the season, it was pretty cool. Having to take a long bus trip and getting hotel night and not having a lot of issues there, it meant a lot to us as coaches, and hopefully meant a lot to our leaving senior class that are leaving their legacy behind. And it feels like we finally gotten to that point where we're not the dorm. The seniors went through an 0-9 season to start, playing the season that they had no business playing in. They didn't quit. They kept working. They committed to football. They committed to us as coaches. And to be able to go out and show the state of Colorado moving up a league as well with that piece, moving from 2A to 3A, it just shows the commitment, the type of community that we've created here. And that starts with parents. It starts with our players, coaches, everybody who's involved. Special thanks for Emily Dunn. She's got the hardest job, I feel, in the building. Works her tail off, making sure everything's in order. I didn't have to sit there and call hotels and call buses and get all that set up. She had that set up for us. Meals from our boosters. I mean, it was a lot of fun this year, and I just want to thank you parents for your commitment to that and making sure your son is making weights during the summer. I know it's hard at 6:30 in the morning, but with the kids at work, that's kind of our only chance to get our team together and continue this trend of upward finishing that we plan on doing for the next, I don't know how many years. But special appreciation to you parents. I know it's tough. So I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart that it makes us as coaches work through this and really enjoy this piece. We've got coaches that don't get paid, some coaches that get paid little. We'd never get paid for a dollar amount an hourly salary, but it makes it a lot better when it's a lot more fun. I don't think any of the guys on staff do this for the huge paychecks that we get for coaching. Special thank you to our Booster Club members. Megan Holleran did a great job taking over for Amy this year. We miss Amy, but Megan took it by the reins and couldn't have done it without the rest of the Booster members and Lynn Waymeyer getting the snacks, getting the meals set up. We appreciate you. We love you to death. Working hard for our boys and keeping them from being hangry during games. Of course, the other members that do a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff with Natalie DeAngelis, Megan Schimmelfenig, Lindsay Walters, Dana Gaines, Christy Raymond, and Scott Collier. Like I mentioned earlier, all the booster meals that we do on Thursday nights, those are huge to get the guys together. They eat together. They can refocus after a practice, come in, eat, and get ready for the game. It helps a lot, and it's always good food and keeps our guys fed and well nourished going into game day. All the different booster committees, the committee for this, committee for fundraising, committees for selling food at the JV, C-team games, everybody stepping up, taking a role on that piece. We really appreciate you all. Mike Holler. Mike Holleran, all the awesome photos that you guys get weekly, putting those out there, doing a great job. I think we all appreciate those. I know you do as parents, getting the action shots to your boys so you can watch the games, but he's out there on the sideline getting some great shots. sideline filming for us that helps us be able to have the film for our guys to not only learn from, but also when they start making their highlight tapes that they want to send off and start getting recruited for college, all that, it's very important. We don't have to stick a coach up there. He's willing to do it, does a great job. Also being able to put it out on YouTube so family far and wide can see the games. Appreciate that. And Leah, with all your snacks for the boys, the meal that you donated, we appreciate that as well. So we'll start this with Ms. Halloran. Did you have anything you wanted to say, or you want to wait towards the end?
I can wait.
Wait towards the end. Okay. So the first thing we've got this year is our academic all-state and all-state honorable mention guys. You've got to be a sophomore, 3.75 GPA or higher, and then a 3.4 GPA or higher. So we've got quite a few of those this year that are on that list. So if I can get these guys to come on up. So our academic all-state guy, Keegan Crane. Here. Gavin Fernandez. Carter Gaines. Ben Halloran. Ivan Hochhalter. Dylan Mock. Ryder Mock. Braden Pollier. Dave Pointer. Drew Raymond. Braden Sellers. Ryan Waymeyer. Jackson Ebar. And our academic honorable mentions, Mitch DeAngelis. Alexander Wood. I think this year as a team, I had the shortest list I've ever had as far as academics went. That makes it very nice. A lot less kids to talk to, but shows our commitment to academics as well as football. Keep it up, fellas. Keep working at it. Next, we'll have our freshman team come up. So if you played freshman ball this year, come on up, please.
Yes.
Where's AJ?
Oh, God. All right. Calm down. I'm Shane Edler. I'm the head coach for the C team, for the freshman team. I got a chance to work with these guys. I just want to, before we get a chance to acknowledge them a little bit, I want to say a little bit about the staff that I had that helped me out. First, over here, we have Coach Bolig. Coach Bolig was able to help with our kids this year, and Coach Jackson as well. Both of them spent a lot of time with our freshmen and really appreciate that. And then can't be lucky enough as far as one of our main defensive coaches throughout the season was our defensive coordinator, Coach Beaker. He's going to come and talk about the defense.
I just want to talk. I love working with the freshman group because it's like the first introduction to Timnath football. I like being a part of that. That it's like these are kids that are going to be here the next 4 years, right? So let's get a good foundation started and build off of that. I had a great time coaching these guys. The biggest thing that impressed me about these guys, and not every freshman team is, big kids, but this team, and it's not all totally represented here, but has a lot of fight in them. And they don't look at other teams and get intimidated. They don't get scared. I mean, we played in some games. I know they were looking during warm up. They were looking down at the other end of the field going, ooh, I don't know. Windsor had probably guys bigger than our varsity players. Broomfield had guys bigger than our varsity players, didn't they? But you guys went out, these guys as a team, defensive, just talking about the defense, but it's on both sides. Went out and just said, you know what? We're going to play hard. We're going to do what we're asked to do, and we're going to compete. And they played tough against everybody. I'm really proud of them as a group, as a defense, and as a freshman team. So great job, guys.
All right, offensively speaking, had a wonderful time with this group. Coach AJ got these guys ready to go last year. So when we got started already in spring ball, getting ready for camp, I had a freshman team that honestly, I was amazed at how much we knew offensively going into that season. And it really did show at camps. We were able to play really well, and then it led right into a great summer and then into a great fall. I'm very proud of the team. Just like Coach Beekert mentioned, one of the things that I'll say about the freshman team, the word that comes up to mind for me is resilience. We've had a lot of situations where maybe injuries, maybe people having other commitments, maybe people not being available due to grades. But no matter what, every week we got enough guys together. The next man up attitude was really shown with this group. Players played in positions that they never played before. Players stepped up and did things when they were asked, even though they didn't like it very much. And I'll be honest with you, you don't get that a lot with young people. And not just offensively, defensively, the entire staff, very proud of this group and thankful that I've been a part to work with. Good job, boys.
I was wondering who the first person was who was going to step on it.
I'd like to echo everything that Coach Edler just said about the freshman team. They were a lot of fun to watch. Freshman ball is one of the hardest things to come in and do, but also one of the most rewarding. And the way we keep our guys together, I mean, the way our staff goes down and coaches the freshman kids just as hard as they do our top varsity guys is pretty amazing. I've been on 4 different high school teams that sometimes the freshmen are distant from the rest of the team. They're down on their own, only with their freshman coaches day after day. But to have the opportunity to really feel like we're coaching these kids for 4 years and they're getting the coaching from the varsity position coaches on every day of practice, it just says to their commitment and what we expect out of you guys moving forward when it comes up to coming to your senior year. I tell every freshman class, welcome to the first day as your senior year. Because it really is. The amount of time you put in as a freshman, sophomore, junior has a reflection on your senior season. So with that being said, we're going to move on. Our JV team presentation from our JV coaches is up next. So Jason Seifert, our head freshman coach, will take the lead on this one.
Cool. I'm going to close things out for us, too. First, we're going to have Coach Schwartz and Coach Moss kind of go through the offense and the defense. So you guys can come up and do your thing.
All right, JV offensively.
The JV guys, if you played a snap at JV, come on up.
All right, now that we got you guys up here, offensively, this is my first year here coaching for the program. First game, I walked in, I was probably more nervous than the kids because I didn't know what the offense could fully do. I was also trying to learn a lot of plays, and every now and then I'm asking the kids, hey, let's do, this formation that coach, that's wrong. Can't do it that way. So they go in and they correct it for me. And as we kept going throughout the season, we started to mesh well, got a lot better. We started scoring more points. And then I let some of them know, like, hey, I want to outscore the C team and the varsity. And every game, they'd always come up and just remind me, like, hey, coach, you're 7 points down. You're 3 points up this week. And it was just kind of a little competition that we integrated just to keep it going and try to score as many points as we can. But coaching this group offensively, there's a lot of talent, a lot of work ethic, and they just have no quit in them. Adversity will appear, and they just keep going. If we mess something up as coaches, they kind of will come off and be like, Coach, that was the wrong thing, but they still kind of got it done, and they're not afraid to speak up and like, hey, coach, this is what we feel comfortable with. It was an honor coaching this group for JV offense, and they definitely did make me a better coach. Appreciate it, guys.
This was a great JV defense. I set some high standards, some high bars, and we accomplished everything we set out to do. That first game, we gave up over 20. I think we gave up over 30, and I challenged you guys. From that point, we're not giving that up again. Every week, we give up less points, and we let the offense go to work. We blow teams out, and we set this program up for further success. These guys answered everything. I have linebackers even. Owen right here looking at me. We lost Jesus up at Severance in a varsity game. Next guy up. And they came up and did that. Lost another guy and didn't even lose him actually. He got promoted up to varsity. Next guy up at the end. Freshmen would come up and play with us and we would have no drop off. These guys showed up in every single way this season. I just couldn't be more prouder to be their coach and send them off into the rest of these years that they have taken in this program. I think they did great. I mean, 9-0 season. We're gonna call it 10 though because we drove all the way out to Holy Family. So that was a win. All right, we're just gonna say that.
Couple things. Huge, big thank yous to our parents. We had parents on the chains every week. So if you were doing chains, huge big thank you for that. Like Coach Boss was saying, thank you for those that drove all the way down to Holy Family and were really flexible with our schedule for that day. Also, parents of the big group up here that earned stripes and was coming to both. They had a game on Saturday, and then they had film on Monday, and they had practice on Monday, and so thank you for getting them to all of their stuff. I know it's a big commitment for a lot of those JV guys that are in that in-between spot where they're JV starters, maybe getting on specials, or maybe not playing a lot in the varsity game, but being committed to everything, and I think that really showed in those JV games how well they were prepared by coming to all that film and repping with the varsity guys. So thank you for making sure they were there for that. Just something for me to think about. I've had probably the most fun. This was the most joyous group of kids that I've been able to coach for JV football. They bring so much enthusiasm and confidence, and I think the trust they have in each other allows them to play and have fun while playing. And I think they don't get tight when a game gets close. There wasn't a single moment in that last game that we had that I ever felt that anybody on the sideline, players or coaches, thought we weren't going to win that game. And that was just really great to see. Huge thank you to all of our assistant coaches at every level. Not only Victor and Moss here, but for some of you who have seniors now, I think you know when we had that very first JV season, most games it was like me and one other coach. Maybe we had a third coach at some of those games, especially those away games. We had a little bit smaller staff, and just running those games on those Monday afternoons, we couldn't bring the other coaches. And I think one of the things that made this team so successful is we had such a commitment by the rest of the coaches on our staff to show up and be there for these JV players. And when you've got 8 or 9 coaches, sometimes upwards of 12 at a JV game, it's going to make a huge difference on how they play. So big ups to you guys. Thank you for coming in and helping us do that. Finally here, as Coach Moss alluded to, we have an undefeated season within this program. We were real close for JV 2 years ago, but this is the first time that we've been able to actually finish undefeated, and I can't wait to see what that translates into for next year. But just so you guys know, if you guys are up here, we are going to have some undefeated 9-0 t-shirts that we're getting printed up that you guys will get before you guys leave. All right, thank you guys. You guys go back and have a seat, and we're going to get into the varsity team presentation. All right, our letter winners we're going to talk about our managers real quick. We got Issa, Aurelie, Arceli, Zanaya, and Dom. Couldn't do it without all them. They take care of a lot of the work behind the scenes so we can coach on practice days. They're getting the water, they're fixing helmets, they're fixing gear, they're doing everything about helping our trainer. But every single one of them have their piece on this team. Our boys treat them with dignity and respect, which is awesome, because they wouldn't want to have my wrath if they weren't, as somebody who's a girl dad. So, but all your boys were very good to our managers. We couldn't do it without them. They make our jobs a lot easier. Hoping they all come back next year and we get them to help us out for the next couple of years. And from a perspective for our JV to go 9-0, 10-0, all my years of coaching, this is the second team on a sub-level that went undefeated. So it doesn't happen that often. They should be very proud of what they accomplished there. We did set them up against some tough teams. I had to get one on a 1-week notice, and we were lucky enough to get Riverdale Ridge that Coach Mock helped us set up. But we got the attitude even from JV going against some of the top 4A teams. It's helping you guys be ready for that next step, and we won't back down from anybody. Timnath, we're going to strive ourselves on being the tough kids on the other side. Other teams want to refer to us as the rich kids on the other side of 25. That frankly should make you mad. Doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. Our kids are tough, and they've shown it by everything that they've done for these 4 years that we've been in existence on every level. Just couldn't be more proud this year as
your guys' head coach. So give yourselves another round of applause. So next we'll go on to our letter winners, our varsity guys, and have their coaches, their position coaches come up and talk about them a little bit. So we're going to start with the wide receivers with Horta and Foley. So you get Carter, Ryan Waymeyer, Breck Ader, Owen Washburn, Jay Taylor, and Landon George.
All right, well, as a wide receivers coach again, this was my first year here at Timnath in the program and stuff like that. And I remember when I first started, I went home and I called my mom and dad. I'm like, hey, these receivers are like, they're about the same size as me. Like, this is pretty cool because I'm used to, before this, I had receivers who were a lot smaller. I was like, we're going to have some fun, do a lot of successful things. And as the season went, we were learning more, getting a lot better, and I think we started getting more confident as it went. And then there was a lot of moments where we, fight adversity, as every student athlete, you guys know. And there was a couple moments like the playoff game. Carter had a big catch. A lot of other guys had big catches. We have some younger guys up here, and they stepped up when needed to be. Whether they got a catch or they made a key block, this group really grew in asserting themselves in the run game, which is what we try to do, and they took advantage when the ball was in the air to go up and get it. All right, everyone. I'm Coach Otterson. That's Coach Blake, offensive line coaches. But before I get into the offensive line, I just want to kind of recognize a couple things. First off, to J-Rob, not a lot enough is said, I should say, to the amount of work that you put in to make this thing go. So thank you, and appreciate you always being the first line of defense for us as coaches too, and getting bloody before any of us do. A little bit, so thank you for that. And to the assistant coaches, you guys are an amazing group to work with, and especially our young coaches who have come on with us. It's really hard to find young coaches or people that want to coach in general. So the sacrifice that they make it's astounding. Their families as well. So thank you guys. I'm proud to be a part of this. All right. Call some names up here. And I'll talk about you guys as a group. Alan, Sawyer, Salter, Aaron, John, and then our two all-conference honorable mentions, Gunner and Ryder. Now, obviously, as these guys make their way up here, I've probably said this before in the 4 years that I've been here when I get to coach these guys. Number one, it's an extreme blessing, and I appreciate you as parents allowing me the chance to be able to coach your boys, and also the chance to be hard on them. They understand that I have a certain standard, and that standard never changes. It doesn't matter what type of body I have in front of me and that I get to coach, and luckily I've got some great bodies here that get to kind of pull off what I'm asking them to. I couldn't be more blessed to have the group that I do, and obviously there's some that aren't up here that are going to be up the D-line, for how hard they're willing to work, the sacrifice they're willing to make, and then just overall just the willingness to play for each other. And that's literally what it takes as an offensive line group. We're the only group that if one guy's wrong, they're all wrong, and that's just kind of the life of it. And I literally couldn't in my wildest dreams have imagined what these 4 years would look like for some of these guys that I've had for 4 years in terms of Alan and Ryder and Dylan. I told you guys
how much I appreciate you and how much I love you, and I'm so thankful for you. For those young guys that are in the stands right now that aren't up here and the other ones that are, there's still a lot left on the table that we have to go and accomplish, and it doesn't stop. It never stops. So think about what your next steps are, what that's going to look like. So that way we can go represent what this football team actually is and build on what we've done this year and the legacy that has been made by these individuals that are no longer going to be with us. So the challenge is now yours, and let's see what we can do with it.
All right, so we're going to switch to the second half of our lineman group. So I get the privilege of coaching our defensive line. A lot of the guys that were just up here have also played significant time for us this year. We kind of split that group up in half here. I'm going to call you guys up real quick, and then we'll talk to you guys. So give me my sophomores. Give me Stevie and Charlie. Then I need Val, Gavin, AJ, and then Cade and Dylan. As we're coming up here too, mentioning to you that both AJ was all conference honorable mention, and then Dylan was all conference. So. Something that's so great about D-line, I think, relative to some of the other positions on our team is that to keep guys fresh, we really like to rotate and get a lot of guys in. So not only do we got the group up here, I think everybody that was up here, yes, even Allen, got some snaps at defensive line this season. And it's really cool for me to get to kind of see how do we mix and match and how do we get certain guys in. And it was really cool to see this year, kind of getting everybody in and contributing from our senior stalwarts like Cade, who's been around for a long time on this group, and then having Dylan coming in and stepping up in the way that he did, really taking charge of being that captain of our group up front. From all these sophomores who went from maybe starting a game to maybe only playing a quarter in some game, Gavin and Val, and AJ, getting his time in and out, helping on the O-line a lot too. So, great group. And then extra minutes from Charlie here at the end of the season, and I can't wait to see what Stevie can bring for us next year coming up. So, it was a really great, super fun group to coach this year. Really proud of these guys. The number of tackles for loss that we had up front this year, I think more than we've ever had in any previous season. So give it up for this group of D-line.
We have the linebackers come up. Jack Nexted, Xander Wood, Braden Sellers, Keegan Crane, Nate Halloran, Jesus Guzman, Caden Pointer.
Let's go, Case.
Hey, Coach White, maybe Chief brother's name on here. All right, I'll start while he's handing those out. As a defensive coordinator, I'd love to talk about every kid on our defense that played, starters, backups, all of them. Obviously, we don't have time for that. I'd go on for like 4 hours. But so I help coach with the linebackers positionally. So these are the guys, I'll just talk briefly through these guys. As a group, we basically had 3 new starters this year on our varsity team. Jack and Xander were starters before, but but not at the positions they played this year. So to me, that's kind of like starting over to some degree. There's a lot of differences between positions, especially Xander coming from defensive end. And then Braden Sellers was not a starter until this year. And, you know, as a starting group, I felt like we performed very well to a very high standard. I expect a lot out of these guys as linebackers. Not only the physical aspect, but the mental side of it too. They have to know everything that's going on the defense, you know, during every play. And that's their responsibility. And I make them, you know, stick with it and learn that. So it's something that, you know, I think they did a great job this year. Jack ended up being elected all conference this year. That was well deserved. Jack's a 4-year starter. He started as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior, and this year as a senior. So that's great. I love that. Xander was the first year playing linebacker for us this year. He played our Sam linebacker position. He did a great job. He came in early in the summer, already knew what was going on, knew what the calls were, knew what his drops were, things that he didn't have to worry about as a defensive end. He's also a 4-year starter for us, 3 at defensive end, and this year as a linebacker as well. So, Braden Sellers. Braden's a guy that's been practicing at the varsity level for 2 years before this year's, and he ended up a starter this year. He's been a kid that, as a freshman, he came in, and I think he probably picked up our defense as fast as anybody in our linebacker group as a freshman 2 years ago. And I've just been waiting for him to finally get on the field. And I was very impressed with the job he did this year, coming in as a new starter, not having really gotten much varsity playing time last year. I thought he performed to a very high level this year, and look forward to him coming back next year. As a the last guy I want to talk about is Keegan Crane. Keegan came out as a freshman, and as you guys that were freshmen then, you know it was a rough year, right? We didn't win any games. We got physically kind of moved around and beat up. But I love the fact that Keegan he played soccer. He ended up coming back this year as a senior and put in a ton of hard work during the season. He didn't get much playing time, but he showed up to almost every single practice and worked his tail off. And I really enjoyed having him back this year. So I know he's not here, but just wanted to mention him.
So, obviously we got some more down here. We got Nate and we got Cole. Before I get to them, though, I do want to bring up Jesus, who unfortunately went down with an injury at severance to some friendly fire.
I didn't
But he does have a promising future within this program, though. Luckily, the injury wasn't as bad as we initially thought, but it did end his season. So hopefully, we see him back out here next year. Also, we got Colton Pointer down there, who, I mean, both these guys from a JV level really performed well, so they put themselves in a spot. But when it came time in a varsity game, and some of these games, second quarter, we're like, hey, we need to get a rotation of guys in because we're up by a lot. They came in, they did their job. Cole, Nate, both of them, very hard workers. I see a lot of good promise in them, and they're, along with a couple other guys in this program, we got competition coming in this linebacker group. We got a lot of guys to replace right here. We got a lot of talent to replace. And so just keep working hard, guys. Keep coming to weights, off-season program, studying your playbook, and we're going to keep rolling in this program.
My name is Coach Mock. I'm going to call these athletes up here. I know Mitch is not here, but we will honor him. Mackay, Max, Brian. Additionally, if you played, I coach the running backs and the H-backs, and if you played that position this year, freshmen, wherever, just please stand up real quick. Ivan, Sellers. Okay, a lot of these young men helped significantly with this group too, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be a part of it. This group is super talented. They're, but more importantly, they're amazing athletes. They're running backs and tight ends, H-backs are what they do. It's not who they are, and this group really exemplified that. They were really focused on hard work, but it was a real joyful experience. They, focused on the essence of who they are. What I mean by that, just to give you an example, is one word that pops in my mind with this group is selflessness. And I'll give you an example of that. The young man that's not here, Mitch, he multiple times during a game, I'd go over to him. We'd be in a position to potentially leave him in, or maybe get some of his peers some work. And I'd go up and chat with him and just say, "Hey, how you feeling? Offensive coach staff, what do you think? You want to stay in? You want to get out?" And he'd be like, "Hey, coach, let them shine. Let them get in." That's huge, right? It's selfless, and that whole group is like that. The H-backs, the three knuckleheads that were the main guys on varsity, they would just be like, "Coach, we got it. We got our rotation." And they would just manage that themselves, and it's just amazing. So special thanks to the seniors. I wasn't here from the start, but I know that you guys really, really built an incredible foundation with this place, and it wasn't easy, right? You guys, a lot of blood, sweat, tears. Morning when nobody would see. Coach J. Rob and I think Coach Ock talked about it, legacy. They've left an incredible legacy. It's like they've lit a torch for everybody in here. And what I would challenge all the returners is that legacy, that torch that they're passing on to you, it's our responsibility to keep it lit. All right? So their name lives. Mitch is not here, but he is an honorable mention, all-conference running back. So give it up for him. Thank you, and just look forward to next year.
Holy Moses. Holy Moses.
All right, next up we have the quarterbacks. Just so Coach Beaker doesn't get confused, that would be Caden Pointer and Drew Raymond. All right, this is a pair that prides themselves on having command of the offense. Pretty imperative as the quarterback, undoubtedly, but it's something they take to heart. Both have done an incredible job of learning a new offensive system over this last 2 years. They both do an incredible job of making sure we've got the right guys in the huddle, or in the right spot on the field, and that we execute the play. Start with Cade. Cade brings a lot of energy and laughter to the team every day. Loves the game of football, loves his team, loves to practice. And although no one in the history of sports doesn't not want to be the starter, Caden relished his role as the backup all year. When Drew did something awesome, Cade was the first and the loudest to praise it. Many football players at every level, the word scout team usually doesn't have a real positive connotation. But Caden did a fantastic job this year of taking that on with a personal pride, making sure he was preparing the defense for their next opponent that week. I'm proud to have him and excited for what he's going to do next year. A lot of animal sounds happening today. Drew just wrapped up the single best season Tim's quarterback has had in our 4 short years of existence. Talk a little bit more about that later. Drew's a spectacular example. The senior of our senior Timnath Cubs football players, 4-year letterman. Been a part of the senior group that was here all 4 years, as you know. Major growth from a winless opening campaign to leading this team to the playoffs. Drew's own personal growth mirrors that of this senior group. And now Drew's put himself in a position where he gets a chance to mix that passion and love for football with his hard work and get the opportunity to play that at the collegiate level. Excited to see where Drew goes in football and in life. Your quarterbacks this year.
Safeties and corner defensive backs. I need Ivan, Paulie, Sen, Cruz, Dom, Evars, Andreas, Worley, Aiden, and Parker. I'm going to start talking about the safeties here. It was really a joy to get to coach these guys this year. It's really easy to coach guys when you have 2 all-conference guys coming back in your room. And these guys lived up to it, held themselves to a high standard, and showed these younger guys the expectations of how we do things. Let's start with Andres, who isn't here, correct? Andres? If we had a scout team defensive effort player of the year award, it would go to Andres. Took every rep at free safety and gave everything he had to everybody that was out there to make his teammates better. Corley stepped in for us, started a varsity game this year when we had to iron out some things at the beginning of the season. Corley's the guy that brought it every practice, really appreciated that, really asked questions when he needed to because he wanted and wants to be better. Excited for his future. Ivan, Mr. All Conference here. Okay, congratulations. Mr. Reliable, Mr. Durable, which gets overlooked a lot in football. The ability to get hit over and over and over again, the ability to hold up to that and last the season is something that not everybody can do. This guy's done it for 3 years. Leader on defense, in word and action, and I'm really happy that I get to have you back next year. To my lone senior, Mr. Collier, I can't say enough about you. I am going to miss you. Your ability to smile and approach hard things with joy. Okay, even if you're faking it sometimes, that's okay. Honorable mention all conference. He is also all teammate, self-awarded. You get to leave behind your legacy of hard work and hard hits as an example for what you expect
the guys behind you to do. I'm super proud of you, and I'm going to miss you.
So, talking about the corners, most of you guys know me by now, but me and the coach that I am, I love him on the football field, I truly do, but I like him more as a person. I always tell these guys, I always coach 90% of who you're going to be and 10% the sport itself. So, it'd be easy to go ahead and go over how they were on the field. I don't have to tell you too much about the first one I want to talk about is Sin. Sin is a gentleman who I enjoyed dearly because he reminded me a lot of myself back in my high school days. I loved it, and he would come out and he said he had the best drip. I think it looked more like a leaf, but tomato. He was easily one of the best corners, and when I first laid eyes on him 3 years ago, I said, you know what, you should play corner. Why? Because you just should. And here he is now getting phone calls from colleges. That has nothing, to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with me. It goes all to his hard work, determination, and the ability to be out here. So, Sin, thank you so much. All conference is Sin as well. Dom is special in his own regard. Dom is hysterical because he is one who would take a hit or give a hit or something like that, and they come off and tell you, hey, you want to hear what I did in school today? Absolutely random, but easily one of the best mustaches on the team. All years that I've known him, it's been there. So easily one of the best, one of the quickest, one of the best ones to go ahead and tell you what he did wrong when he came off the field. I didn't even have to say, hey coach, why'd you pull me off? I didn't even have to. He would say, hey, I let him go. Hey, I took too long. Hey, whatever the case may be. But he had to go both ways this year, and he did a terrific job of being able to manage how tired he was and when he needed to come out. So, Dominic, thank you so much for letting me coach. Hey, right next to him, speaking of mustaches, there's Cruz. Cruz, I didn't know if he and I were really going to get along because of his CU background and my CSU.
Yeah.
A lot of Venmo had to get started for him to actually see the field. And a lot of apologies. No. Cruz was easy. Cruz was, okay, coach, you got it, coach. Okay, I'll try that, coach. Cruz was easy. It's not every day you have a corner of that size and that athleticism who is very coachable. Normally, they tend to be it's all about me and everything to be around me. But Cruz is literally the exact opposite. Whatever I asked him to do, he did it. And I think that will truly translate, not just his football career, but in life in general. Because once again, you're not always going to play football, but you will always be a human. So be the best one. Cruz really showed out with that. So thank you, Cruz. Jackson. Oh, Jackson. My little friend Jackson. Jackson. Okay, I'll start off good. Being a spiritual leader, being a pastor, being someone who loves to talk about Jesus all the time with the kids and so forth, Jackson did a great job of that, of taking over that FCA role, as well as with Caden and Paulier, of being able and being a leader in that regard. That's hard. That's hard to do because it's not cool to be a Christian, but he didn't wear it like that. He wore it as a badge of a life well changed. It was awesome. The other part of that is he was my best racist player that I've had. And I mean that in the most love possible way on this planet. He and I used to joke off of each other for, what's that, 4 years now? I can repeat most of it. Coach white privilege, coach, stuff like that. The fun stuff. But it's only because I had to play on my last name, because it's fun. You can look at it and get hurt, or you can look at it and have a good time. So he and I always had a good time kicking back with that. Towards the end of the season, though, he had something happen in his life to where he really had to lean on Jesus in a certain way, and that was hard. And for him to come to me like a young man, young adult, say, "Hey, I can't really go through this. I need help." That translated right back to the field. When it was time to get on there and do the best he absolutely could, he did. I wanted to put him in more. I really did. Honestly, I did. But at the time, I just could not. But he is definitely somebody, number one, you want on your team, and number two, you definitely want him as a friend. Jack. These two I got to talk about freaking crack together because Aiden and Charles, aka Parker, they're the same person. They literally are. I could use them anywhere as far as corners. If I told one thing, it was kind of funny, then the other one would understand or no. I could hit one in the shoulder and the other one would feel pain. I don't know if they separated school. I don't know if they were separated at birth. I don't know what. But these two corners have a huge future here. For Aiden, he's got some shoes to fill, but believe it or not, I think he's making his own way. And it looked absolutely amazing to see him come into his own, especially when he got his stride. And Parker, on the other hand, decided to go ahead and just say, you know what, I need this and I need this now. Parker was someone who said, you know what, if he dropped the ball, he would let himself have it, especially with the hit to the helmet. I didn't have to tell him the thing. There was no discipline involved. He did it to himself. I didn't want him to go that route. But he actually can and will hopefully go on to the next level as well. Those are the corners.
You're welcome.
Got you red. All right. So you might think that we're done with position group. We'll be forgetting the kicker. Alright, so in addition to coaching D-line, I'm also our special teams coordinator. And there is nothing better than feeling like, man, at any point we are in field goal range if we're basically across the 50. I'll never forget 2 years ago in the JV game, coaching Ben and calling a timeout to let him try a 55-yarder, which he absolutely crushed. It was just one of the coolest moments of that whole season. And knowing he was coming back this year for us, I just got so excited. And I think his ability to put most of our kickoffs back to touchbacks. I think we had a game where it was like we had everything that was a touchback except for 2, which were down inside the 10, and then I guess a third that we recovered from a fumble. So like when you have that level of weapon out there, it's a game changer for us. And I know he's probably too hard on himself and got to remind him that even the pros miss and get him back in it because we know he's capable of doing so much. So let's give it up for Ben Allen.
We aren't done yet. Seniors, grab your jerseys. Come up on stage.
Holy shit.
So I think with this group, all of us coaches probably could get up here and talk individually for at least 30 minutes. Coach White for about an hour and 30. But this group means a whole heck of a lot to all of us that have been here for the full 4 years, 1 year. It doesn't matter for us coaches. They set the point this year that they knew where they wanted to take this team to, and they were capable of it. I think one thing we get lost in is how struggles create the men that we are by the time we're done. And these guys struggled that first year. And it wasn't because of anything they were doing wrong, but a lot of people get challenged with struggling and they quit. These guys did not. Things are hard a lot of times, and these guys kept grinding, kept going through it, and they were able to lead us to the playoffs this year. So I'm going to miss, us coaches are going to miss these guys tremendously. I can never thank them enough for their dedication, their work for 4 years, and what they helped bring Timnath to from. But I love these guys to death. You always got a meal at my house. If you need anything, you got my phone number, except for the Mockmans. I heard they eat a lot. But whatever it is, you guys can contact any one of us coaches. We're going to be there for you. We stress family all the time, and it doesn't stop after 4 years. It keeps going beyond, and just the men that they've become in these 4 years is pretty special. So that's a tribute to you parents that got seniors up here. These guys are always going to hold a special place in my heart. The same with every group that goes through. I know one thing from coaching: when you do leave a group, there's always the things that tug at your heart from the years that you're not going to get out of the guys you're actually leaving. But as long as I'm here, you guys are part of this family. Hopefully, for many more years. I want to see you guys back. We are all going to follow you guys, and our front door at our own home is always open for you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you in your class last year. They lit that torch. You guys kept that torch running. I'm super proud of you guys. Some of you even, I wish I had it up. I got a nice video of Alan. His footwork's got a lot better from his freshman year. Walking in the door over here, trips over the doormat, falls flat on his face, rolls over like a turtle. There's a lot of stories. Mitch, when we were at Sterling the first year, he did some motion that wasn't even in our playbook. He started motioning back and forth. Looked like MC Hammer out there, but good thing he was the only one moving, so it wasn't an illegal motion or anything. All these guys, it's a lot more connection than just coaching. These are going to be good men. They're going to go on to be great men. Great job, parents. From the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you for allowing us to coach your kid for 4 years. We appreciate it.
You said that over there.
First award we got to give out is our freshman offensive player of the year. Coach Edler is going to talk about that player.
Again, always a pleasure to get to work with the freshmen. This group is no different. Offensively speaking, there's a number of players that I could have gone towards this year. We had a couple of quarterbacks that are really going to be special in this program. We had some offensive linemen that move like running backs. All right. But But, well, how about this? We even have a center who I kind of got on a little bit this year at practice, and I tell you what, he did one heck of a job when it came to be game time. But really, receivers, tight ends, H's is what we call them, but a lot of options. But when it really came down to it, there was one player that was probably, I guess the word is explosive. And of course, in this situation, the explosiveness I think comes from his side sport, which I'm not very sure is his side sport. I think his other sport, which is lacrosse, and that'd be Jacob Lemon. Not here again, can't say enough about the group in general. Jacob, I had never seen him actually move on a lacrosse field. It makes sense. And when you see him out on the football field, he is a lacrosse runner through and through. He dodges, he weaves, he makes good blocks look great. And he makes, how about this? He makes play callers look pretty good. So, again, I wish you would have been here to get his award, but he's, I think, at a lacrosse thing right now. It never ends. So, thanks again. It was a pleasure to be working with that group.
Next up is our freshman defensive player of the year, and Coach Beaker's going to award that one.
This next guy, I'll have him come up. I can talk about him while he's coming up. Jackson's somebody that reminds me a lot of myself. Through high school or starting high school, other than the fact that he played this year and I didn't play as a young player. Jackson's came right in as a freshman, immediately knew the calls that he was supposed to make. It took him like 10 minutes to figure it out. We're not real complicated at the freshman level defensively, as most of you guys know. But he came in, took control of the defense, that's his job as a middle linebacker. And played his heart out all year long. I think everybody on our defense, on the freshman team, looks up to you as a player and as a person. The hard work you put in, the skill that you have on the field. And it's something that, he's going to keep gaining weight, and he's going to be expected more and more, just like everybody else out here, right? Every year, more is expected of you, and you've set your bar already at a high level. Okay, so that means what? You got to continue to push yourself even higher, and that's something that I really appreciate. I think you may have missed one play this year. Is that right? The very end, 2 plays at the very end of the Broomfield game, and that's it. Every play he was out there, just very consistent, very reliable. You knew what you get out of him every play, and that's why he's our defensive player of the year.
Next word is our freshman team Cub Character Award. It's based on everything they do, not just bowling, good enough sound.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be able to talk about this player and this award because when it comes to the Cub Character Award, no matter your size, your talent, this is something that everyone in our program can be great at. It's something that we as coaches are committed to doing. We actually, if you don't know, did training to help us not just coach X's and O's over the summer, but to engage our players on the mental aspects, the heart aspects. How do we operate as a teammate with character and play football at a high level? Yes, we're trying to win, but we want to help young men grow into the type of men that are role models to make a difference in our school and in our society. And I think the greatest thing about this group of freshmen is that as we were voting for these as coaches, I got more texts from people lobbying for several different players for this award because it is an exceptional group of young men. We have a lot of guys who could have received this award, and it's just a selfless group filled with a bunch of leaders. The guy who won it, I'll have him come up, is Grady Housley. Because we had a smaller roster, we had a lot of guys who were asked to do a lot of things that maybe wasn't their preference. And I think Brady epitomizes that. He was a guy who absolutely could have gotten some time for us as a wide receiver, but we needed an extra body at O-line, and we needed someone that could go in and do that. So we had games where he was switching jerseys. He went in there, did an excellent job. I think selflessness is something he embodied. He was also a leader, encouraging his teammates, getting after him. And so just really proud of Grady, really proud of this whole group and the work they put in this year and just the young men they're continuing to become.
Next up for our JV Offensive Player of the Year, Coach Mox is going to come up and talk about that more.
All right, JV Offensive Player of the Year. This young man, he kind of mirrors what I talked about before in our position group. He's the epitome of it when it comes to actions speak louder than words. He doesn't say a lot, but he does plenty on the field. And as a play caller, like Coach Edler talked about it a bit, and I'm sure Coach Pointer knows, when you have that type of athlete that you can just kind of go to, it's kind of like a little kid with their blanket, and they make you look good. But this year's winner is Max Sipperly. Hey, Max has just a way of, you're on the sidelines, Coach Horton's calling the plays, and it was a blessing for me to be there and watch. And Coach Bolig, Coach Blake, myself, there were often many moments where we'd look at each other and go, I just don't know how to explain it, but he just gets it done. He just finds a way. It's like a snake through grass. I don't know, it's awesome. Good job.
Next up will be our JV Defensive Player of the Year, Coach Mox is going to talk about him.
So, there's not much I can say about this guy without giving it away right away. So, I'm going to go ahead and announce it, and then I'll talk about him a little bit, because as soon as I say something, you guys are going to be like, oh, I know who this guy is. So, rugby, go ahead and come up here, bro. Charlie Hammond. So, there's a couple guys deserving of this, but what really tipped it this guy's way is he kind of lived every JV player's dream. Showed up every weekend, was just absolutely wrecking. And at the time, we were like, we need to develop him more, we need to get him more playing time, and we're kind of log-jammed at the DN position. And it was the Meade game where Beaker came up with this genius idea and was like, you know what, let's mix it up, let's see what Charlie can do out here. And he went out and did in that game what he was doing in JV games the whole time. I mean, like, nothing was missed. And this guy just continually brings it. I call him rugby. He's got this thing with this play, man. We run this punt, and you guys have seen it. We roll out to the right, and Dom could run it, or he can punt it, and most of the time he'd run it when he wasn't supposed to, but he get a first down anyways. But this guy fell in love with the play, and he'd always be like, outside one day, we're on punt return. He looked at Syfe, he said, hey, we should run rugby. And Syfe's like, yeah. And like, hey, we're on punt return. We're not punt. Right? So, a great character kid, though. I mean, more than just the football stuff.
What he brings, he loves to play around, loves to keep things fun. But at the same time, when it's time to work, he's going to go to work. He's going to bring it. So, all around, man, good job.
Next up is our JV Cup Character Award. Coach Beaker's going to talk about this one.
Come on up, Nate Hallerin. I could go on about Nate for a while. Last year, as a freshman, he was the leader on our freshman defense. A lot like Jackson was this year. Came in, learned what he was supposed to do right away, gave a great example to everyone around him as far as how to work. got to work hard every day. You know, he makes tons of plays on the field. This character award does not in any way take away from what he does as a defensive player on our defense. At the freshman level last year, at the JV level this past year. Nate is around the ball all the time, but it's the extra things that he does, the leadership he provides, the calmness that he brings to that huddle when he's out there makes our JV defense that much better. Okay? It's that calm you get when you know you can rely on someone. That's what Nate provides, I think, to a lot of our kids that play defense in this program. He's a leader of men. He works hard, and he's a guy that, you know, you want to make an example and show someone as an example to younger kids. Nate's the guy.
This is why coaches come home with headaches. Just kidding. The next award is for the guys that I truly believe don't get enough recognition for what they do. It's the most important position on the field, but it's our lineman of the year, and Coach Otterson's going to talk about
that. Before I bring this young man up, just speaking from an offensive line perspective here, because this also could be a defensive line award, but obviously it's going to be an offensive line award here. For me as an offensive line coach, I have a mantra, I have a kind of a philosophy, I have a way that I view the offensive line, and that is through the concept of what I call DOLA. I've said this before, it stands for Dominant Offensive Line Attitude. And it takes a certain type of person to play offensive line. Anyone can play offensive line, but it takes a certain type of person to do it well. It's a mentality thing. It's a way that you carry yourself. It's how you take on every single play and the role that you have as an offensive lineman, as a lineman itself. When Coach J-Rob just mentioned, you're not going to get recognition. The only recognition you're really going to kind of get is when things go wrong. Most of the time, when guys are scoring touchdowns, they're catching touchdowns, quarterbacks know the yards. There's only a handful of people that actually really know what's actually happening in that play. They just see a ball go and somebody ends up in the end zone. But what happens between that is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and grinding that is happening on the line of scrimmage that leads to that thing taking place. So our lineman of the year, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit here, is Gunnar Juarez. Yeah. As he makes his way up here, we're a little bit slower offensively. Obviously, Gunnar came off an injury from wrestling last season and missed our camp, which was sorely missed. And sorry, I got to step up and actually earn a position this year because of what he did in the camp. But Gunnar was definitely missed in that. I've challenged Gunnar constantly. Even as a freshman, I think he won this award as a freshman because of the role he played on the team and playing multiple positions: tackle, guard, center. Center is obviously where he's found himself and where he was actually before he became a high school athlete on the football team. Gunnar's everything I look for in regards to that mentality I was talking about, being a dominant presence, being a person that you can trust and is going to do what you ask him to do. Gunnar and I met in the mornings during the season at times, looking over old film. Beaker would know this, and those DVDs you get every single week as cut-ups. He always was looking to get better and wanting to get better, and I let that translate onto the field, which it did. So I'm extremely honored that I get to recognize Gunnar, but also get him for another year and get to see what he's going to do his senior year, and hopefully it's a lot more dominance. So.
Next up, another special award, our Special Teams Player of the Year. And Coach Seifert, as our Special Teams Coordinator, is going to announce that.
All right, this player, I think one of the reasons he earned all conference honorable mention was his ability to do multiple things between both offense, defense, and special teams. So Dom, come on up here. Funny, a year ago, you told me Don would be up here for special teams. I probably wouldn't have believed you. He loves to just kind of mess around at the beginning of practice, and is just like, "Hey, can I just punt just for fun?" And he's doing it, and it's just looking phenomenal. These like sky punts, and then they just drop. And there's you can all our guys that return, they'll tell you that it's really hard to catch a Dom punt. In addition to both punting, right, we also have his ability to return. I think once we got some things about making sure he's catching the ball in the air, figured out after the first few weeks, did a great job. Took one back against Hinkley for us on punt return as well. And then, from my perspective, I think running our roll kick, our rugby punt is an extra element that not everybody can do. We changed up how we ran it from last year, where our kind of fake side out was more of a throw look, and now we have someone who I tell him all week in practice, I trust you, man. If you see it, go get it. And then it comes to the game time, and he takes off, and I'm like, oh no, yes. And he was 3 for 3 on that choice this year when he took off. And got 3 first downs for us on that, so 100% on reading the role correctly. And 3 of his 5 punts in that playoff game, over 50 yards, really flipped field position and helped us tremendously in that game. So let's give it up for Dom.
Next up is our varsity offensive player of the year, and Coach Horta is going to talk about that.
Offensive Player of the Year. This is a big award. Definitely a guy that the offense, we're counting on the whole time to make some plays, do some things for us. Carter Gaines was that person. Well, Carter's coming up here. When I first walked in the building, I thought he was going to be just like a traditional tight end, and then I started to learn that he used him as a slot on the line. Sort of in line, 3-point stance tight end. But just watching as the season went, there was great catch after great catch, and honestly, very clutch of a player. You were definitely a security blanket for the offense throughout the whole season. As the wide receiver group, you set an expectation, and I hope that carries on to be a program, something, a tradition that is going to live here. Make sure we are getting our hands dirty in the run game, and definitely take advantage of those opportunities when the ball is thrown to us. Good job, Carter.
Next up is our defensive player of the year, and Coach Seifert's going to give that award.
Dylan Moss. It's been so cool to get to watch Dylan, who really got in it in kind of the second half of last year's season and really showing what he could do on D-line. And man, so many moments this year was like, man, I should have played him a lot more last year. Dylan was second on our team in total tackles, which as a defensive lineman, especially how we run our defense, isn't something that you normally expect. In previous years, we've had kind of at least 2 of the linebackers, sometimes linebacker and a strong safety, kind of lead the team in that category. Also led the team, doubled up the second person for tackles for loss with 15, including 4 sacks this year. Just a tremendous force for us. You could tell when we were running certain schemes, teams wouldn't run to his side, and we would really start to see by the second half of games that they're going to run the ball or going the other way because they could not run to our left on Dylan's main side. He's also so flexible and so smart that I can actually move him and put him inside a defensive tackle too, which he started to do in some different things. Running some other guys at end and letting him play some tackle for us, and just a tremendous force out there. I think the thing that's going to stick with me for forever is the play against Palisade in the playoff game where they're running option and he sticks his hand out
like a basketball player going for a steal there. Forces that fumble, we cover it, go score. I think 5 plays later. And that was just such a smart heads-up play, and really, I think, indicative of how he had played all season. Watching a lot of film, understanding what plays were going to come back at him out of certain formations, and just so thoroughly impressed with how well he played this season. So let's give it up for Tim.
Next up is our Varsity Cup Character Award, and Coach Voss is going to give this.
Character, they say, is what you are when nobody is looking. I think a little better determination of character, though, is who you are when you get squeezed, who you are when things are tough. Because it's easy to have character when things are going well. It's easy to be a leader when there's success. It is much more difficult in life when things are hard to have that same trait. This year's recipient has certainly faced some challenges, and through these has been a guiding light and leader for Timnath. Not just on the football field, but also in the classroom. Not just on Friday nights, but also Monday through Thursday through practice when things were demanding and things were hard. Couple of things that we can find scattered throughout band from said player. Couple of quotes here. Confidence doesn't just come free, you have to work at it and build it. I'm so proud of the way you guys played and pushed through things, even though we didn't get the outcome we wanted. And last of all, I love you all. Ivan, we love you too. Personal story, seeing it firsthand this year, particular game that things were not going well at halftime. There was a player that was really upset, and I went over to talk to this player to say it's going to be all right. And Ivan swooped in and was like, I got it, coach. It went on to say, it's going to be all right. Next play, we can't live in the past. We have to move forward and do everything that we can. That's character.
The last award is our Cup of the Year. Coach Pointer is going to talk about that soon.
All right, Cup of the Year. The sky doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Special quality football player. As a coach, it means you can know and depend that no matter how good or how bad things are going, that guy's going to keep grinding and keep his head down and keep working. In the same vein, all of us are very different, right? We do things in different ways. This player isn't necessarily the most vocal of human beings. He's not your hype guy that you'd go to, but he's undeniably a leader on the football team. And that's because he demonstrates character and conducts himself in excellence in all phases of life. Whether it's on the football field, or on the weekend, the classroom, the weight room, you can rest assured that he's not only going to be there, but he's going to be doing what's right and do it with a high level of effort and integrity. Drew Raymond, come on up. Again, if we look back at 4 years ago, Drew, like many of his teammates, was thrust into varsity games. 14-year-old boy getting pushed around by 18-year-old men.
But as much, if not more, than many of the others in the class, Drew grind. He lifted, he ran, he studied, he threw, he worked to get better. I know I'm biased, but I truly believe that playing the position of quarterback is the hardest position to play in any sport. And Drew did not let any setbacks or failures that he experienced his freshman year, those that poured over on to sophomore year, the disappointment of not winning the starting job his junior year, none of those derailed him for a single second as he continued to press to get better and lift up his team. That manifested itself throughout 11 games this year. On the football field, he completed 102 of his 196 passes, 1,525 yards, 17 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. All conference quarterback. My deep pleasure again to present your 2025 Cub of the Year in Raymond.
Ms. Holler, do you want to take the floor, please?
Thank you, Megan! I'll try to be quick. I know everybody probably wants to go watch the Bronco game. I want to thank the board, Christy Raymond, Lynn Waymeyer, Lindsay Walter, Natalie D'Angela, Scott Collier, Dana Gaines, and Megan Schimmelfennig. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to the board and to this team. Thank you for helping with my last-minute ideas and last-minute meetings. A huge thank you to Amy Kolchak, who isn't here tonight, for laying such a great foundation for the board and this football team. We certainly wouldn't be where we are without her. Before you leave, sign the board out there for her. We have a gift for her at a later date. As a board, we want to thank everyone in this room for making this a football family. I think several teams have talked about this being a family, or several coaches. Family isn't just what you're born into, but it's also the ones you choose to surround yourself with. It's those that circle the wagons when times are tough, and those that cheer loudest for everyone on the team. Those that donate their time, energy, money, and support to the team. And I'm really proud of the team and the family we've built here. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting when we started supporting this team. To the boys, thank you for giving us something to be so proud of. Your grit and determination are inspiring. You fought against adversity that no one could have dreamed of and still delivered Timnath's first ever playoff bid and a season to There really is nothing more that nothing more we like to do than watch you play. It's been a joy. Coaches, thank you for pouring into this team. The late nights, early mornings, watching film, developing plays, the time away from your family and friends. It means a lot, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you. Table right over here. They're framed pictures of you coaching and mentoring our boys. They're all signed by our boys, so we hope you keep it as a great reminder of the importance of your role as a coach. You're helping to build great young men that will do really big things in the future. I know that discount cards weren't everybody's favorite to sell this year. My apologies. We're working on better ways. But it did help raise enough money to buy the jerseys like the ones you see down here. The white jerseys, the boys thought they were very drippy. I don't know the right word. But they did look really cool on the field. So, yes. We'll continue to support the team through sponsorship opportunities, fundraising, and we have really big plans for the years to come. A few special shout outs. Jenny in January for setting up concessions every Saturday morning. They set up a great system that we can carry on with next year. So thank them. Big round of applause. Waymeyer and the Neal crew, you kept our boys well well fed and well snacked before every game. Thank you so much.
And Mama Nama.
So we're so grateful for her. Shannon and Jill for running the swag table, selling like crazy, promoting our boys before every game. We appreciate you also. And I also want to thank the families that every Saturday and Friday nights were running chain crew for us. That's a hard position to fill, but it's probably one of the best to stand on the sidelines and get to watch your boys on the field. So thank you so much to all those people. And I'm done.
So once again, I don't think I said it at the beginning, but thanking these coaches, their families, they do put a tremendous amount of time in, and in 23 years of coaching, I don't know if I've been around a better group of men to model behaviors, to coach your boys. They make it fun every day coming to practice with these youngsters out here. If I had a son, they'd definitely be playing for them, because these guys put in every ounce of effort to make your boys better as a team, working together. So a round of applause for them and their families. Next up, we got our seniors to do their end of the deal, and then that'll wrap up our 2025 season.
That is
He has a Lego account.
Alright, so throughout the season, as players, we've been getting frame pictures after every game. So as seniors, we decided to give all of our coaches the top frame pictures of the game. So for our first one, we got this one's titled Master Seafood. We got Coach Dwayne and Chill guy. We got Coach White and Nico. Alright, now we got John. And we got Coach Bob saying call laces. And we have Coach Bob yelling at Thank you.
We got guys that volunteer with National Honor Society hours that are cleaning up our ships. Again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts as coaches. We appreciate it. This is really one of the most fun years I've ever been around, and let's keep this train rolling in the right direction. Again, thank you, seniors, from the bottoms of our heart. We're gonna miss you guys. Don't be strangers. Thank you.